Welcome back to my final chapter series. This is the series where I try to catch up with series that I started over the last probably 15 years. I try to finish them or DNF them if I don't like them anymore. And I started this project with 50 series that I want to continue and finish. I'm starting episode 13 now with 28 series that I want to continue. So let's catch up on what's happened between the last episode and now. I finished one series, which was the Renegades trilogy by Marissa Meyer. So I'm down to 27. I read the first book of the Silver Cloak series, so I'm on track with that. So still 27. And then we had a few new releases in the last few weeks, which were made by Ali Hazelwood, the second book after Bride in this Omega World series. Then we had the release date of Brimstone by Kelly Hart, the second book of the Quicksilver series. And it was also the release date of Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh, book 6 in the Boys of Tommen series, here in Germany, because I've waited for the German version here. And we are not at the end of the list because I have two more new releases. The first one is A Castle So Cruel by Lisa Yasmina, a friend of mine, a German author, and this is book 2 in a dark romantasy duology. So I will be finished with this series when I read the book. And the last one is The Strength of the Few, the follow-up book of The Will of the Many, one of my most anticipated releases of the year. The book is by James Islington, and I can't wait to read it. It is the newest release on my list because it just came out now in December when you see this vlog. A lot of these books aren't out yet when I film this clip because today we have October 31st. I have a few weeks until this vlog comes out, but I still wanted to start filming because I have started Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, the first book in the Six of Crows duology, and the fourth book in the Grishaverse. I am halfway through the book. It is a buddy read with my buddy read girls on Discord. And after half of the book, I can say I like this second story in the Grishaverse. I like the new characters. I like a good heist plot, so I'm in for this. The only thing I really have a problem with is that the characters are so young. They are all between 15 and 18, and I think for this plot and their behavior, that is not very realistic. Or for me, it doesn't feel realistic. In my head, they are at least 10 years older, because otherwise I couldn't enjoy this story. But so far, I'm really interested to see them work together as a group, that they need to try to trust each other because they don't do that at this point. There are a few people in the group that really hate each other, and they have their reasons for it. The male main character, Cass, is a really closed up character. He doesn't talk that much. He is the head of the group. He manages the whole heist, but he doesn't tell everything about his plan because he doesn't trust other persons. So he only tells them the bare minimum, what is really necessary, so they can accomplish their tasks. And it is interesting to get in his head, in his POVs, to see more of his thought processes and to see what he's really feeling, because He hides a lot of this in front of the others. I like Ines. I like Nina, a person we already know from the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I'm not the biggest fan of Matthias because of reasons, but I also understand why he's the outsider in this group. And I can't wait to see how all these relationships develops over time. And I really want to see how they continue their heist, if they accomplish their goal there, and with which problems they are confronted. Because, as far as I know, the plan is not very detailed because they don't know a lot of things and they just need to see what they are confronted with. So the heist itself will be full of tension and action. That's what I expect. And I will tell you more after I finished the book. I have finished Six of Crows now, and it was an okay to good book for me. I don't understand the big hype about it, but maybe it is because I'm a little bit late with this series and maybe a bit too old for it. I don't know. I like the characters, I still like the world building, I like the plot of this book, but I really think the characters are way too young for this plot because who engages children to do this kind of a job? To make this heist, to break into the most secured prison slash castle in this whole world? I don't think that's believable and very realistic, which was my biggest problem with the story. The second biggest problem was that I felt very emotionally distanced to all of these characters, especially Cass. We could get a little bit closer to Ines and Nina, and I'm still interested to read Crooked Kingdom, which I will do next in this video. Because I'm still intrigued by the plot, I still want to know more about the characters and want to know if certain characters will get their happy end and overcome their trauma. We will see about that. I'm also interested to see how these characters will act when they enter Ravka. So there are still a lot of open points, even if this plot is closed. We had a lot of teasers for the next plot, and we will see if I will like Crooked Kingdom a little bit more. Most of my buddy read girls aren't finished at this point with Six of Crows, so I have to wait for their opinion, which is completely okay. We will all read on our own time. Nobody is pressured into reading more or less. It is very relaxed and I enjoy this very much. So maybe I can give you an update on the opinions of the others when I start Crooked Kingdom. Welcome back to myself because you hopefully continued watching this video. I am halfway now through Crooked Kingdom. This is the German version that I lent from a friend of mine. And I am now halfway through the book and can tell you that I like this more than book one. We get a lot more background of our characters, especially the side characters besides Cass. So, background of Jasper, of Nina, of Matthias, of Wylan, and of course also from Ines. I really, really like this, and I can say this book is much darker than book one. At least I had much darker vibes in the start of this story. I think Cass is even grumpier now in this book, especially after what happened to one of the characters at the end of book one. but I really like to get more in depth with these characters, with the relationships between the characters. And I can't say much about the plot of this book because I think it didn't happen much so far. We stayed in Ketterdam, we had some action here, but as I said, it was more about backgrounds and getting back together and really planning what they are supposed to do next. So I can't wait to read about that and if they can accomplish their goals. I hope we get a happy end here, especially because I ship some of these characters together and I want to see them happy in the end. We will see about that. So far, I can only say I enjoy Crooked Kingdom more than Six of Crows, and fingers crossed that it will continue like this. I have finished Crooked Kingdom now and can say I liked this more than Six of Crows, especially because there was more character depth, more character development. We had this in book one mostly with Matthias, and we had now all the other characters. So I preferred Crooked Kingdom, but I'm not 100% satisfied with the ending. Maybe we see some of the characters again in the next duology. I don't know about that. But I know that the Six of Crows duology is the most hyped series in the Grishaverse, and honestly, I don't understand the hype because for me personally, it was nothing special. I liked the characters, yes, but I criticized this. Also, in book one, for me, the characters were way too young for what they needed to accomplish and for the experience they had in life in general. So, in my head, they were at least 10 years older, and with characters, I mean, especially Kes, Nina, Matthias, and Ines. Jasper too, which makes it complicated in my head that there is sparking something between him and Wylan, because Wylan is a child in my head. So Jasper needs to be younger than the other ones, just in my head. So it is complicated, and yes, this book was better, more like a four-star read for me, where Six of Crows was more a three-star read. So I liked Crooked Kingdom, don't get me wrong, and I'm intrigued to read the King of Scars duology with Nikolai. I will do that in the new year, so you have to wait a little bit for my opinion. But I finished this duology now, will continue the universe in 2026, and that means I can continue now with another series. Next, let's continue a series that is on my TBR for years. I did my reread of book one in September and continue now with Wolf Empire. This is the old cover and old title, The Wolf's Club Book 2 by Cosima Kincaid, a German author. But a lot of her books are also available in English if you want to check her out. Not this one, sadly, but I will put this to the side so you can see the new cover and title. Wolf Empire Book 2. It is dark romance reverse harem, and I'm now halfway through the whole story and halfway through book two of this trilogy. In my personal opinion, it is not super dark like most of the dark romances today, and I'm really liking this level of darkness. So, just forbidden romance, illegal jobs like these ones with their own mafia, and all of this spiced up with a forbidden relationship between one girl and three guys. So, yes, please count me in. We had a lot of action and drama in the first half after Bailey got kidnapped in the end of book one and was held hostage for some time now. But I'm really interested to see all of these relationships grow, to see how the wolves unite again, and how they fight their enemy. The female main character, Bailey, is a really strong female character. I'm totally in love with that. And I also like that all three male main characters are completely different. My parents called, so where was I? I think by Atlas, Kate, and Bishop, that they are all very different from their character. We have Atlas, he's very controlling, he's the boss of the wolves, he manages everything. We have Bishop, he's more of the fighter and protector. And Kate, he's a bit of the insane one because of his trauma, and he's addicted to drugs. And he hears a voice inside his head called Daisy. So, a lot going on, a lot of interesting characters, and I can't wait to continue reading, which I will do now, and I will talk to you after I finished book two. And I started book three of the Wolf Empire series now. This is old cover and old title. This is the new cover and the new title that is available at Amazon and on the other platforms. And I am halfway through book three now. I'm still really enjoying my time with the characters, especially now in book three. I think I like this more than book two so far because we get more into depth with these characters about their problems, about their trauma. They really need to work on that to make this relationship work and to make the whole Wolf Empire work. Especially Atlas is our focus here. So, our very controlling leader of the Wolf Empire. And he's not so happy at the moment. He has to deal with a lot of problems that came up, especially personal problems. And there is a lot happening now in book three that influences the characters and their decisions. Not in a good way most times, but I hope they get through it and they can have their happy end. I'm really counting on that. I can't wait to read the second half of book three now and finish the whole series. Fingers crossed that it will be a grand finale because I'm living for that. And I can't wait for a big confrontation here and my happy end. So I will talk to you after I finish the book. And I finished another series. And that means that I have one less series to continue in the future, which is good for me. And for the series itself, I liked the series, not love it, but it was entertaining. I had a good time with the story and the characters, and I liked the ending. It was fitting for the story, and I also liked the character development, especially of the male main characters here. I wish we had a little bit more about Kate in the end, about his healing story, especially with Daisy and the drugs. that topic is a little bit open in the end, but everything else fitted perfectly, and they all had their time to shine. We had some spicy scenes in the book, of course, but we also had some dark topics, which is fitting for a dark romance. When I see the scale of dark romance we have today, it is more on the lighter side of dark romance, and that's more what I want to read. So I was happy with that. If you read more hardcore dark romance, this is probably not for you. But as I said, I really enjoyed my time here, and I don't have much else to say about the book because I don't want to spoil anything. So let's go on to the next book. Of course, I also want to read some of the new releases in this video, and the first one is Made by Ellie Hazelwood. I am halfway through the book now. It is a tiny bit confusing because we have two different timelines, and I need to get back into the story at the start of each chapter when we change the timeline, but that's completely okay. I can work with it. And I'm really interested in the storyline, especially after we learn that Serena is chronically sick and that she will probably die of the sickness. And nobody knows about it. Not her mate, not her best friend, just her doctor. And as a half blood, Serena is also a big threat to society, especially the vampires, because Serena is half werewolf, half human. And nobody knew before that this is even possible, that an interspecies relationship can create children. So, especially the vampires that are left out here want to kill Serena, and her mate, Cohen, does everything to protect her, even if he is also hesitant to start a relationship with her, like Serena itself. So at this point, they are more friends than everything else, even if the vibes are there between the two. But Serena thinks it is not fair to start a relationship with him with her sickness. And Cohen, he has also some reasons why he don't want to start a relationship with her, but they are still mates, so it is complicated. And I really like to explore this relationship and how it grows over time, how they start to trust each other, to talk to each other, how Serena starts to explore the whole werewolf community and their rules, and how she starts to create new friendships. I'm a really big fan of that, and it is a super easy read to me, so I can't wait to continue. We also have some Omega verse vibes here. I'm not really into this subgenre, but as far as I know, the vibes are there, and I will tell you more after I finish the book. I have finished Made now, and in book one, we experienced the topic of knotting for the Omegaverse. In book two, it is now heat that we experience for the first time. It was a little bit awkward to me to read about it, and I don't think that Omegaverse is really for me, but nonetheless, I enjoyed the series and also enjoyed the second book now, especially the character development of the main characters, which I can't believe I forgot the names. Give me a moment. Serena and Cohen. Yes, okay, I remember them. I really enjoyed their love story, their personal growth over time, the experiences they made together, and also all that Serena needed to learn about herself. It was super interesting to me. I like the sarcasm of Serena. I'm a super big fan of that in books because I also have a very dry and sarcastic humor. So that is totally up my alley. And I also loved the general plot of this book with the whole cult topic that led to our big conflict. So, all in all, I enjoyed my time with these characters and the Northwest Pack now. I don't know if we will get another book in this series because for me, the series is over now. I don't have a preference which character should get their own story now. I really wished for Serena and Cohen in the end of book one, but now I don't have anyone. So I really don't know if Hallie Hazelwood said that this is a duology or not. We will see about that. I will read book three if there ever will be a book three. But so far, this is it. I finished another series, which means I can continue with the next one. What is a final chapter vlog without a reread? And this time I'm rereading Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I've read this last November in a 24-hour readathon and already knew after that I need to do a reread before I read the next book in the series, which was published now in November called Brimstone. So when I'm filming this update here, the release from Brimstone is in the future and in 6 days, I think. So I started this book at the beginning of November and am halfway through the book. And yes, the reread was necessary. I forgot a lot of the details, even if I remember everything now that I'm reading and listening to it. Because, yes, I really prefer the audiobook here. It is super, super good. And I can only recommend listening to the audiobook of Quicksilver. And I'm really enjoying my reread here. I still love the characters, Cyrus and Kingfisher, the main characters, but also a lot of the side characters, like Carrion. He is my favorite side character. Like Ren with his Scottish accent in the audiobook, and Archer. He's also one of my favorite side characters. I really am in love with this romantic story and the world building here. The magic system is super intriguing, like the relationship between the characters. So I can't wait to continue. I think the second half is where I forgot most about. So let's continue. Let me remember everything so that I can start Brimstone when it will be published. And I finished my reread of Quicksilver now. I'm still really happy with this book. I really like it and am a big fan of Kingfisher and Ceres, and also of side characters like Carrion, especially Carrion. I'm a big fan of him and I can't wait to read more about him, more about Ceres, especially, and about the relationship between Ceres and Kingfisher. I'm really glad that I did this reread because, yes, it was necessary before reading Brimstone, which I won't do in this video but in the next final chapter vlog. So I am prepared now. I remembered a few of these plot twists, but not all of them. And I really loved the twists and turns and the action in the end, all the drama and the emotions. I was here for that, and I couldn't put the book down, even now with the reread, which is a good sign. So I can't wait to continue the Fae and Alchemy series now, which I will probably do tomorrow and read the book slowly. So you will get updates in the next final chapter vlog. And hopefully, I will love Brimstone as much as Quicksilver. Honestly, at this point, I'm hesitating to start new series, but I made an exception here to read The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter because I got a review copy of this book in September for the German edition and I wanted to read it. I wanted to explore Ellen Hildebrand for the first time, even if this is not her typical genre. And I'm halfway through the book now. I think it is the start of a new series. I haven't done any research on that, but it reads like the start of a series with a lot of drama and mystery and secrets. And we have a lot of POVs in this book. The whole story plays at the academy, which is a boarding school. And in the school year before the story itself, one of the attendees from the school committed suicide. It was a big scandal at the school, but they tried everything to make it a secret. And now the new school year starts. Another girl takes the place of the dead girl. And we have obviously the normal teenage drama between the girls. The new girl is different than every other girl, doesn't like to party, just want to read. And of course, the bad boy of the school, East, starts talking to her, wants her attention, and she's falling for it. So we will see how this will go. Because on the other side, East is also flirting with one of the new teachers and is making out with her. So, a lot of secret drama here. We have also the POV of the principal from a lot of other attendees of the school, from other teachers, from the parents. So, there is a lot going on, but it is mainly a lot of personal drama from the different people. And I don't know if it is because of the translation or because of the writing of the two authors, but I'm not the biggest fan of the writing. But I'm interested to see how all these storylines will continue and will play out in the end of book one. Even if I'm sure at this point that I won't continue the series, maybe I will change my mind. We will see. It happened before that I thought I don't want to continue a series, and in the end, there was a big cliffhanger, and I needed to know more. So we will see. I will keep you updated when I finished the book. And I finished The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. It was an okay read for me. As I said before, it is a lot of drama at this boarding school from the teachers and also the students. We have a lot of POVs, but I really missed one POV, which was the POV of Andrew. So, East, I really hoped we would have had an inside view of him, but that is not the case. And I'm a bit disappointed by the end of the book because, in the end, yes, most of the drama was taken care of. but also a lot of the drama was ignored and not get discussed into depth because people got fired. One student needed to leave the academy, and that's it. Other students had no consequences at all for what they did, which is not right. And in the end, I think I'm not really the reader for this book, and I won't read book two of this series or duology, maybe. I don't know. But I know that book two will be published in September next year. It will be called The Thoroughbreds. There isn't a cover yet, but I found this information on Amazon as I did my research about a second book. There is one thing I really want to know, which will be explained in book two in the end, which is what Cinnamon sent Dub in this mail, because she wrote that he can open the file at graduation day, and that will be in the end of book two. But everything else, I'm not that interested in. There was one thing in book one that really surprised me, which was also about Dub. Just one sentence. And I don't know if you have read it. You also had this surprise moment because it was more between the lines, but it changed a lot for me about his character, which is super interesting and intriguing, but not intriguing enough to read a second book in the series. So it is a DNF of the series for me, which is good for my series list. And maybe this was now the last book of this vlog? Question mark? I don't know. We will see if I can fit in another one. I mean, you can already see it when you see the length of this video, but I don't know at this point, and I will definitely talk to you another time. No more books for this video, so this means I can sum up what happened here. I started the vlog with 32 series that I want to continue and finish. I've read 7 books, but not all of them were to finish a series. With Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, I continued a universe and will continue in the future. Then I finished the Wolf Empire series with book 2 and 3 of the trilogy. I finished the Omegaverse series by Ali Hazelwood with Mate. I did my reread of Quicksilver, and I started and finished The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. So that means I finished this episode with 30 series that I want to continue and finish. Let's remember my goal for the end of the year was to get this number down to 25, which means I need to finish 5 more series. And we already have December 11th. I don't know if I can accomplish that, but I will try. I will film another episode that will be up in January, and then we can see if I can reach my goal for the end of the year. I will try my best. Please tell me in the comments if you have read any of the books I've read in this vlog and what do you think of them. Like this video if you wanna, follow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!